Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a powerful and complicated situation unfolding inside Belarus, where military leaders are increasingly signaling resistance, disagreement, and quiet pushback against the long-standing rule of President Alexander Lukashenko. This growing tension is shaping new debates about the country's stability, the future of its leadership, and how internal strains within the armed forces may shift Belarus's political landscape in the coming months and years. In this video, we'll walk through the factors leading to this pressure, the motivations of the military figures involved, the consequences for Belarus's standing in the region, and why this moment is more important than it may appear on the surface. The current climate in Belarus is built on years of political tension, public dissatisfaction, and a leadership style that has increasingly leaned on security institutions to maintain control. But when the same institutions that support a government begin showing signs of internal conflict, the entire structure becomes uncertain. Reports, expert analyses, and regional discussions suggest that senior military figures have been raising concerns over strategic decisions, foreign alignment, economic pressures affecting the army, and the long-term direction the country is moving toward. These concerns create a subtle but meaningful form of pushback that builds slowly and quietly rather than erupting suddenly. Belarus's military for decades functioned as a pillar of loyalty to Lukashenko, but loyalty in any system is not static. It evolves based on confidence, stability, and trust in leadership. When policies shift too quickly or appear to undermine national interests, even loyal insiders begin to question the path ahead. That is the environment emerging today, where generals and high-ranking officers are reportedly more outspoken in internal discussions and more cautious in their public alignment. While these disagreements are not yet outright confrontations, they reflect deeper divisions that could influence the direction of the country's future governance. One major point of friction stems from Belarus's geopolitical position and its close ties with its larger neighbor. Military leaders are increasingly weighing the costs and risks of aligning too closely with external powers, especially when it creates security dilemmas or exposes the country to potential instability. This has led to hesitation among officers who worry that Belarus's autonomy may be gradually shrinking. Their pushback, while subtle, is connected to concerns about national sovereignty, military independence, and the integrity of their strategic decision-making. Economic strain is another pressure point. A military cannot function effectively without stable resources, proper funding, and consistent modernization. But Belarus has faced significant economic pressure in recent years, and the military quietly feels those effects more than most sectors. Reduced budgets, slower procurement cycles, and outdated equipment create frustration among officers who want their forces to remain strong and respected. When resources decline, morale and trust decline with them, creating fertile ground for internal dissatisfaction. Within the ranks, soldiers and younger officers also sense the shifting atmosphere. Their views are shaped by daily realities, international information flows, and a desire for stability. Even if they do not openly express dissent, the underlying sentiment influences the broader tone of the military community. This gradual cultural shift inside the armed forces can be just as impactful as open criticism from senior leaders. It indicates that the old model of uniform alignment is giving way to a more complex internal landscape. The communication between military leaders and the government appears to have become more strained as disagreements surface more frequently. Though meetings continue and structures remain in place, the tone has changed. Where once there may have been unquestioned acceptance, there is now negotiation, hesitation, and the presence of quiet objections. These disagreements often emerge around policy decisions that affect national security or require the military to take actions that could have long-term consequences. The military is increasingly aware that its choices today will shape Belarus's trajectory for decades. Belarus's relationship with its population is also part of the internal pressure. Many military leaders view themselves as protectors of the nation, not enforcers of political agendas. When public frustration increases, it places the military in a difficult position, balancing loyalty to leadership with a responsibility to maintain national unity and avoid internal conflict. Some officers reportedly express concern that further public dissatisfaction could spill over into civil unrest, forcing the military into unwanted situations. Their pushback may be driven by a desire to prevent such scenarios from developing. These emerging tensions have implications beyond Belarus's borders. Regional neighbors observe these developments closely, understanding that instability within Belarus's military could influence security dynamics, economic cooperation, and diplomatic relations. The country's strategic location makes its internal cohesion essential for broader regional stability. Any sign of fragmentation or political struggle inside the military leads to increased speculation and concern among surrounding nations. The government, aware of these dynamics, has attempted to strengthen internal control while projecting confidence to the public and international observers. But confidence projected outward does not always reflect sentiment within. The leadership may respond with reshuffles, loyalty tests, or strategic messaging, but such measures do not address the root causes of military dissatisfaction. Instead, they can sometimes reinforce the perception among officers that the government prioritizes control over cooperation. As pressure builds, military leaders may seek more influence in strategic decision-making, pushing for policies that strongly protect national sovereignty and reduce unnecessary risks. They may advocate for reforms, better resource distribution, and a clearer long-term vision for the country's security direction. Their pushback does not necessarily aim to overthrow or confront leadership, but to reshape decision-making in a way that aligns more closely with institutional interests and national priorities. In systems where authority is heavily centralized, even minor pushback can carry significant meaning. It signals that the internal balance is shifting and that the traditional dynamics between leadership and the military are evolving. This evolution can occur gradually, with small disagreements accumulating over time until they form a broader pattern. That pattern is what experts believe is developing now, a transition from silent compliance to cautious resistance. The population, observing these developments, may interpret military pushback as a sign of possible change. Whether that change results in reforms, leadership adjustments, or a new political landscape is uncertain. But the perception itself matters, as it influences public confidence, social stability, and the overall direction of national dialogue. The military's stance often carries significant symbolic weight, shaping how people view the future. Belarus's younger generation of officers may play a crucial role in the coming years. They grew up in a different information environment, with broader access to global perspectives and different expectations of leadership accountability. Their mindset may gradually reshape the institution from within, pushing for modernization, greater transparency, and strategic independence. Their quiet dissatisfaction today could become louder in the future if the system fails to adapt. As these pressures continue, the government faces a complex challenge: how to maintain stability while addressing the concerns of one of its most important institutions. Ignoring these concerns could deepen internal fractures, while responding too forcefully could trigger greater resistance. The delicate balance between authority and institutional trust is now being tested, and how leadership navigates this moment may define Belarus's future trajectory. This moment is not defined by dramatic confrontations, but by subtle movements that reveal deeper currents. Pushback from military leaders reflects a long, brewing unease with the direction of national policy, geopolitical alignment, and internal governance. Their concerns represent a broader desire for stability, safety, and strategic clarity in an increasingly uncertain environment. The world will continue to watch these developments closely, analyzing every signal, every reshuffle, every shift in rhetoric. But the most important dynamics may remain hidden from public view, taking place behind closed doors in private discussions among military elites and political leadership. The outcome of these discussions will likely shape the next chapter of Belarus's political and strategic evolution. As this situation unfolds, it is essential to remember that military pushback does not necessarily indicate immediate upheaval. Instead, it signals a system under strain, where long-standing relationships are being reevaluated and institutional confidence is being tested. Belarus is entering a period of recalibration, and the decisions made now may define its future stability, sovereignty, and identity. The pushback from military leaders highlights the need for dialogue, reform, and a renewed sense of national purpose. Whether the leadership chooses to embrace these signals or dismiss them will play a major role in determining Belarus's path forward. A country's strength depends on trust between its institutions, and when that trust is challenged, the system must evolve or risk deeper instability. The coming months and years will reveal whether this quiet resistance becomes a catalyst for change or a passing moment of tension. What remains clear is that the foundation of Belarus's political structure is shifting, and the role of its military leaders is becoming more influential than ever. Their concerns reflect not only institutional interests, but a sincere desire to protect the nation from internal and external risks. Their pushback is a reminder that no system is immune to the forces of change, and that the future is shaped by those willing to speak, even quietly, when they believe the country's course needs correcting.